My son didn't speak when he walked through the door. He just stood there, his backpack hanging open, one strap half torn. His eyes were red, the kind that come from swallowing pain too long. I asked what happened. He shook his head. Then I saw the bruise under his collar, a faint purple print, like someone's grip that didn't want to let go. He sat down on the floor and took off his shoes slowly, mechanical, careful. I waited. Silence stretched like a noose between us until he whispered, "He said real men don't cry." He didn't need to tell me who he was, her new husband, the man she swore was good with kids. I watched my son's small shoulders tremble. He was trying to hold himself together, trying not to break in front of me because someone taught him that pain makes him less of a man. That night, after I tucked him in, I sat in the dark. My hands didn't shake. My breath didn't quicken. Rage wasn't hot. It was cold, still, precise. I didn't text her, didn't storm over. I started gathering proof. 2 years ago, she told me I was too calm, that my silence scared her. She said she needed someone who would stand up, take charge, be passionate. She mistook my control for weakness. Now that passion she craved was teaching my son how to fear. When we divorced, I made a promise to myself. I'd never use my anger as a weapon. She'd done enough of that for both of us. But I also promised something else. If anyone ever hurt our boy, I wouldn't react. I'd respond. Quietly, surgically. So I did what I do best. I observed. I checked messages, listened to voice notes she accidentally left open, found recordings from my son's school counselor, notes about behavioral changes, sudden flinches, nightmares, patterns, always patterns. Every story told the same truth. And through it all, I kept my face still, at work, with friends, even with her. Because when people think you're calm, they forget you're watching. For 2 weeks, I built my case like a man laying a minefield. I documented bruises, logged conversations, pulled voice memos from a smart speaker she didn't realize synced to the cloud. Each piece of data was a pulse in a growing heartbeat, steady, deliberate. Then I met with a friend, an officer who owed me a favor. He looked through everything and didn't say a word for a long time. When he finally did, his voice was low. "This isn't discipline," he said. "This is control. You need to move fast." He handed me a contact, a child welfare investigator, known for cutting through lies. I made the call the next morning, gave them everything. Dates, times, evidence. They told me to stay quiet, so I did. I waited. Those 2 weeks were the longest of my life. My son's silence grew heavier, like he was afraid to breathe wrong. Every bruise told a story I couldn't yet say out loud. And she, my ex, kept sending cheerful photos. Her husband smiling wide, their new perfect family plastered across social media. I almost pitied her. Almost. Because she didn't know the truth wasn't coming like a storm. It was coming like a scalpel. It happened on a Tuesday afternoon. I got the call. The investigator's voice was firm. "We've confirmed everything. You did the right thing." An hour later, they showed up at her house. By evening, my son was back with me. Quiet, tired, but safe. She called 30 minutes later, screaming through the phone. "You ruined us! You twisted everything!" I didn't answer. I let her voice echo into the static until she realized she was the only one still playing her part in a story I'd already finished writing. That night, I drove past her house once, saw the porch light on, her husband pacing, yelling into the void, his reflection fractured in the window glass. He looked small, like all abusers do once the curtain falls. 2 days later, she came to drop off some of her son's things. Clothes, books, a toy glove he'd outgrown. She didn't make eye contact. Her voice trembled. "They're investigating him. He's saying I knew, that I let it happen." I said nothing. She tried to step closer. "You have to believe me." I didn't. "You didn't stop him," I said quietly. Her breath hitched. "I was scared." "So was he," I replied. "But he's 8. You're not." She covered her mouth, shaking. There was no satisfaction in watching her crumble, just finality. When she left, she turned back once, her eyes pleading. "You've changed." I met her gaze. "No, I've remembered who I am." That night, my son slept peacefully for the first time in months. I sat by the window, listening to the quiet. No anger left, just a strange, heavy calm. Justice doesn't feel triumphant. It feels empty, but clean. The truth always costs something. This time, it cost her illusions. Tomorrow, I'll buy my son a new glove. Not because he needs it, but because he deserves to hold something that never hurt him. And maybe one day, when he asks what happened, I'll tell him, real men don't hide what they feel. They protect what matters, and they do it without making a sound.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.